Today on Newswatch, another big day in the 2016 presidential race. See which candidates are expected to come out on top as 5 states head to the polls for another Super Tuesday. Plus, is there a common thread behind many mass shootings and a recent plane crash? Why some experts are sounding an alarm about antidepressants. And diamonds in Israel. See how the Holy Land has become a major player in the business of bling. And thank you so much for joining us for CBN Newswatch. I am Ephraim Graham. It is a big primary day in the race for the White House. Some are even calling it Super Tuesday 2. Top prizes in Florida and Ohio are on the line. Donald Trump is trying to lock down his GOP frontrunner status, while Democrat Hillary Clinton is trying to do the exact same thing. Dale Hurt has the story.
It's a day that could be the critical turning point in the race for president. Contest in 5 states, including the delegate-rich winner-take-all states of Florida and Ohio.
This is a place I want to win. This is the place. This is going to do it.
GOP frontrunner Donald Trump was in Ohio overnight attacking its governor and his rival John Kasich. The two are neck and neck in the polls there.
Kasich cannot make America great again. Can't do it.
If Trump loses Ohio, some analysts think that when the Republicans meet in Cleveland, it could be a contested convention. If Kasich loses, he's likely out of the race. But the Stop Trump movement was in full effect.
This country is not about us tearing one another down.
Rivals spent Monday reminding voters of the recent violence at some of Trump's rallies.
Look, a Bernie Sanders sign. Don't worry, you're not going to get beat up at my rally.
One difference between this and a Donald Trump rally is I'm not asking anyone to punch you in the face.
There's no violence. There's love fest. These are love fests.
In Florida, Senator Marco Rubio is determined to claim victory in his winner-take-all home state, despite polling behind Donald Trump in some cases by more than 20 points. In Charlotte, North Carolina, Democratic frontrunner Hillary Clinton was blaming Trump for the violence at his rallies.
I do hold him responsible. I think if you go back now several months, he's been building this incitement.
Bernie Sanders was in Illinois, far behind in the delegate count, but confident, and getting much closer in the polls in recent days.
Let us see this great state help lead the country into a political revolution.
Clinton holds a wide lead in Florida and North Carolina, but recent polls show a tight race in Missouri and Sanders narrowing her advantage in Illinois and Ohio. Dale Hurt, CBN News.
A top leader of the Islamic State has been killed by a U.S. airstrike in Syria. The Chechen terrorist Omar al-Shishani was easily recognized by his red beard. He was one of the most prominent ISIS leaders, serving as the group's military commander in Syria. A senior Iraqi intelligence official and the head of a Syrian activist group say al-Shishani died outside the ISIS stronghold of Raqqa in Syria. The Syrian group says ISIS brought in a number of doctors to treat Shishani, but they were not able to help him. Despite some territorial losses, ISIS still controls large swaths of territory in Iraq and Syria. The House has approved a resolution that condemns the Islamic State's wide-scale murder of Christians and other minorities as genocide. The resolution passed 393 to 0. It pressures the Obama administration to officially declare the Islamic State's bloodshed against Christians in Iraq and Syria as genocide. Such a declaration could require more action by the U.S. government against ISIS. Secretary of State John Kerry is set to make that determination as early as this week. Russian leader Vladimir Putin has ordered the withdrawal of most of his country's military forces from Syria. The move comes before new peace talks between Syria's president and opposition forces. The pullback signals a slowdown in Russia's nearly 6-month military campaign in Syria. But Putin made clear Russia will maintain its naval facility, air base, and some troops in Syria. Although the withdrawal coincides with the Syrian peace talks, the country remains deeply divided, and terrorist groups are still fighting to overtake the country. From Syria to Iraq and the unrest in Libya and Yemen, these conflicts have exposed new limitations of America's superior military might. And as John Jessup explains, with cuts in defense spending and personnel, the U.S. military is also losing another battle, maintaining its technological edge.
A very dangerous place. We have a depleted military, totally depleted.
It's a popular line with the candidates on the campaign trail.
Number one, we'll rebuild the military.
We are at war with violent extremism.
We're going to build up our military, and we're going to get the equipment we want.
Often followed with applause and hearty cheers from the crowds. But the hard truth about America's military weaknesses is enough to sound the alarm for experts on defense.
Does this stuff keep you up at night?
It does keep me up, but more importantly, it keeps up Pentagon leadership at night.
Mackenzie Eaglin researches defense strategy for the American Enterprise Institute, a conservative Washington think tank. She believes the U.S. military has lost its fighting edge after the long and costly campaigns in Iraq and Afghanistan.
And now here we are winding down from the wars of the last decade and finding that the rest of the world did not slow down. In fact, they're catching up or surpassing us. We're in a constant state of conflict and using our military at a rapid pace. So drawing down anymore is not an acceptable way to save money because you spend more to build back up.
The United States spends considerably more than any other country on defense, more than double the budget of China, which comes in at number 2. But since 2010, U.S. military spending has fallen by 20% due to deficit reduction. Meanwhile, China and Russia have been increasing their military spending, a cause of concern the Brookings Institute's Michael O'Hanlon voiced to CBN News in a previous interview.
But we also have to be a little bit nervous when their budget is growing 10 to 20 billion every year, and ours is coming down 20 to 30 billion every year.
Eaglin says China has a leading edge in next-generation space and missile technology, adding that it's developing hypersonic missiles that travel so fast, defending against them is nearly impossible. She also warns about a resurgent Cold War power.
If we're talking about electronic warfare, Russia is eating our lunch.
Eaglin points out Russia is far ahead in cyber warfare and that the U.S. military's research and development is now lagging far behind the private sector, while in the past, military R&D was used to start the commercial revolution within the American economy, giving the public the internet, GPS, car phones, and more.
But everything from plastic bags to pantyhose are from the U.S. military or derivative from research and development. The federal government is no longer the driver in research and development in our U.S. economy. It is now led by the commercial sector. And the problem with that is, if the Defense Department wants access to it, everybody has access to it.
She says that means the military now has to learn from the business world and sometimes use products like tablet computers for airstrikes and Xbox controllers for drones. Even worse, Eaglin reports that in a series of 16 different war games by a former Pentagon planner to see whether the U.S. and NATO could defend the Baltic states against Russia, the U.S. lost every single one. What does this all mean for the United States military? Eaglin believes this lack of technological advantage will lead to failed missions, higher casualties, and longer wars. It's a gap she warns that the U.S. needs to start filling now before it's too late. John Jessup, CBN News, Washington.
Severe flooding is sweeping across the South. Residents in parts of Mississippi are concerned lakes are rising quickly and could flood their homes. In South Carolina, 70-mile-an-hour winds and hail battered parts of the state Monday night. And in Louisiana, floodwaters left more than 5,000 homes underwater. In some areas, the water rose 5 feet above the road. As the waters recede, residents are trying to get their lives and their homes back in operation. Operation Blessing is there to help them. Operation Blessing is helping families with those gutting homes, removing debris, restocking personal necessities, and serving hot meals from a mobile kitchen. Operation Blessing also has support teams providing emotional and spiritual support during this recovery period. The German pilot who flew a jetliner into a mountain in the Alps last year was on antidepressants, including one that could have had a deadly side effect. Andreas Lubitz was the co-pilot of the plane. He locked his captain out of the cockpit and slammed flight 9525 into the mountainside almost exactly a year ago. All 150 people on board were killed. Lubitz had mental health and physical problems and consulted dozens of doctors. One of them prescribed antidepressants, including one whose side effects can include suicidal tendencies. He didn't report any of that to the airline. Neither did the doctors because of Germany's strict medical confidentiality laws. Now, French investigators are looking into the crash, and they say those laws must change. Far too often, we hear about deadly attacks or mass shootings at schools, shopping malls, or even military bases. And the question that usually follows such an event, why? Why did they do it? As Lori Johnson explains, the medical experts believe certain drugs could be behind the violence.
Most violent outbreaks in recent years have involved guns, and new information indicates there's often another common thread: antidepressants. From Columbine to Aurora, the Naval Yard to Fort Hood, antidepressants have been linked to violence. For decades, psychiatrist Peter Breggin has studied this link.
That these drugs are causing agitation, anxiety, insomnia, hostility, aggression, mania.
Antidepressants work on the brain, thereby altering the way people think.
In addition to driving the person with this amphetamine-like effect, the antidepressants kind of do a bit of a lobotomy. You lose your empathy. You lose your caring.
In his book, Medication Madness, Dr. Breggin cites real-life examples of violence that could be blamed on antidepressants.
Of an engineer who was given Paxil probably to help stop smoking, maybe for some tension, certainly not for any mental disorder. And within a couple of doses, he drowned his 2 children and himself in a tub.
But not all doctors view antidepressants so harshly. The Cleveland Clinic's Dr. Karen Jacobs says without antidepressants, many of her patients couldn't even function properly.
They may not be able to work, they may not be able to interact with their peers, they may not be able to interact with their family. They're really isolated and not very productive. And you can turn a patient's life around by being able to find the right medications.
But she also recognizes the risks.
Educating your patient how to use an antidepressant, what to expect, not only the side effects, but some of the dangers, including making sure that you educate either a caregiver or another family member, is really essential to prevent some of the side effects or detrimental kinds of things that you might have read about in the press previously.
The American Psychiatric Association urges doctors to exercise caution when prescribing a certain type of drug, which includes antidepressants, saying their uses could be harmful, especially if patients aren't properly monitored or are taking other drugs. But Dr. Breggin says when it comes to emotional problems, counseling is the better treatment, saying antidepressants can make the situation worse, especially in young people.
The child who is already angry and upset and withdrawn starts to feel agitated, anxious, hostility starts to increase, aggressivity starts to increase. The kid has no idea it's a drug effect. Even if you told him it was a drug effect, he might not believe you. He'd say, no, I'm just angry at my schoolmates. I'm just angry at my mother and father, because it feels like it.
The Food and Drug Administration receives some of its highest number of violence reports from people taking antidepressants.
And it happens often with a dose change, up or down, or starting or stopping, a change, because that's what jars the brain the most, is the change.
So while antidepressants are some of the most popular drugs among doctors and their patients, they can sometimes lead to unexpected and even dangerous results. Lori Johnson, CBN News.
If diamonds are a girl's best friend, Israel is pretty close to their heart. Find out how Israel has become a global player in the diamond industry. Coming up. Israel is probably best known for its biblical history and outstanding military and cutting-edge technology. Well, now it's also becoming a world leader in diamonds.
The Israel Diamond Exchange has the largest trading floor in the world. Some say it's like shopping in a diamond supermarket. While you may have heard that diamonds are a girl's best friend, what you might not know is many of those diamonds come from Israel.
Israelis have a very special knack in being able to run around the world and are very, in the most positive way possible, aggressively pursue business. And you see Israelis in New York all the time, you see Israelis in the Far East, and it's become very important hub for global distribution of diamonds.
David Lasher is managing director of New York's Diamond Dealers Club.
New York is the bedrock of the world diamond industry. Over 40% of the world's diamonds are consumed by the U.S. Israel is a very important partner in moving the goods through the world and to the U.S.
The Israel Diamond Exchange boasts some 3,500 members. Shmuel Schnitzer is the lifelong honorary president of the Israel Diamond Exchange.
It's not easy to become a member here. You have to show your credibility in all aspects.
Oddly enough, this diamond connection began in Europe because it was one of the few trades allowed to Jews. As Jews returned to the Holy Land, they brought their knowledge with them.
It started in the 40s when Jews that ran away from Europe came to Israel, and they built the industry here. Since then, thanks God, we are growing and growing. In 1940, we had 70,000 US dollars exports. Today, we have about $7 billion only for polished diamond export.
There are no diamond mines in Israel. All of its gems are imported to be traded, cut, and polished. Israel does not deal in conflict diamonds, stones that are sold to finance civil wars and bloodshed in Africa. Even today, the industry is very family-oriented, passing the business from generation to generation.
We are a family. My father is a diamond manufacturer for 50 years. Yeah, and for 50 years we manufacture diamonds. Myself inside the business, I'm making diamond jewelry.
And it's possible to spend a lot.
This product, it's around $200,000. I have $150,000 to $200,000. The people that can buy this is or wholesaler or a jewelry factory.
But why are diamonds so enduring? Schnitzer says it's a combination of women's love for diamonds and their lasting value. That could be why diamonds are forever. Chris Mitchell, CBN News, Jerusalem.
Helping children laugh again, how Superbook's Gizmo is providing a reason to smile for children who survived a devastating earthquake. Operation Blessing has been helping people stay warm during the winter in a remote Himalayan village in Nepal, where many residents have not recovered from last year's massive earthquake. Most have little to nothing to protect against severely cold winters. And so Operation Blessing provided residents in the village with warm polar jackets. All the villagers, including babies and young children, received the warm winter clothing. Now they're able to cope with the frigid weather in their mountainous homes. You can learn more about what Operation Blessing is doing by going to its website, ob.org. Well, while Operation Blessing is helping with practical needs in Nepal, CBN is also offering some encouraging entertainment inside the Hindu nation. Superbook's Gizmo is helping kids laugh again and enjoy some valuable lessons in the wake of that terrible earthquake. Lucille Toulousan brings us that story.
Superbook's mascot Gizmo has only been in Nepal for 3 weeks, but he has already reached more than 30,000 children. CBN believes that introducing one of the main characters of the Bible animation series Superbook to churches and schools will increase viewership of the program. The Nepali version of Superbook began airing on national television 2 weeks before the big earthquake struck in Nepal last year. But with Gizmo and the Superbook team going to the schools, mostly Hindu in remote villages, its audience is growing bigger.
Gizmo is fast gaining new fans here in Nepal. The children love him and they can learn moral values from its Bible stories.
Up on stage, Gizmo talked in Nepali language to the children. He challenged them to courageously fight their bad habits, just like David was brave enough to fight Goliath. Gizmo's bubbly and funny character delighted the students and school administrators as well.
Thank you for bringing Gizmo to our school and introducing Superbook. This will be a big help for our students.
Schools in Nepal are mostly Hindu, and this poses a challenge to show Superbook to the students, because it is Christian in nature.
One principal said, "Oh, this is against our culture and traditions."
So our Nepali team leader challenged him, just watch one episode of Superbook and tell me what you think. So he watched it, and he saw that these Superbook stories teach the same good morals and the same good character traits that they teach in their schools. And then they were very glad to promote Superbook.
These children who met Gizmo in person on a Saturday couldn't wait to get home to watch Superbook, which aired later on that same day. And because only a few homes had television in this remote village in Kanchanpur, this bunch of kids gathered in one hut to watch Superbook for the first time.
I am very happy to meet Gizmo and watch him in Superbook. I learned from the story today that we should be obedient and respectful to our parents. I really like Superbook very much and we will watch it again.
Gizmo's tour has just begun. The Superbook team is going to visit many churches and schools across Nepal, especially now that the Association of Private Boarding Schools has approved the Superbook tours in schools.
One of our goals is to see children transformed and develop good character. Then when this generation grows up, they can have a positive effect upon the nation.
Lucille Telusan, CBN News, Dangadi, Nepal.
And you can learn more about Superbook and how you can get copies of the latest episodes at cbn.com. Stay with us. We're coming right back. It is time now for your Tuesday Tweetable. It is a message I pray will inspire you today, and then I hope you pass it along. Post it, tag it, tweet it, and share it with others. There are two forces at play in life. On one hand, your enemy wants you to accept defeat, but your God has other plans. So I encourage you to go with God and expect great things. Be sure to make this a terrific Tuesday. That's it for now on CBN News Watch. You can find more of our exclusive coverage of the issues you care most about at cbnnews.com. Be sure to take the time to tell us what you think about the stories you've seen here today. You can do it on Facebook or at CBN News on Twitter. Hope you'll join us again right here next time. We'll see you right back here tomorrow.